Today we're going to be looking at a delicious grab bag of licks from the classic Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsys live Fillmore CD. Going to be looking at licks from 3 different tunes. And as always, these are approximations. No one, especially yours truly, can play like Jimi Hendrix. So I'm going to be, again, as usual, trying to get you in the ballpark, give you a framework, give you some theory so that you can add some licks to your arsenal and build on them. Okay? The first tune we're going to look at is Power of Soul, which is confusing because it's mislabeled. There were 2 songs on Band of Gypsys that had similar titles, but this one is most commonly known as Power of Soul, although again you will see it labeled Power to Love. Hendrix tuned down. If you wanted to play this one along with the CD, you'd be in B flat. I'm going to move it up to B just because it's a little bit easier to show you, because we're going to be going back and forth between the 5th and 7th frets, and with the position markers I know people have told me it's easier if I show them in one of those keys. So it starts off with him hammering a, in this case, B chord. First 4 strings, again you're movable. First position E chord. Okay, that's the first figure. So what he's doing there, after he hammers that, he does a standard blues lick. We're talking about a lot of pentatonic licks in all of these lessons. In all of these licks, what I want to show you today is how Hendrix did a lot with the simple minor pentatonics, and also throwing in a mixture of kind of those R&B influences that he had with some Chuck Berry influences. Okay, so that's mainly what we're looking at. Okay, so you're bending the 4 there, 3rd string, 9th fret, and then playing, you know, it's right out of that chord. And then he's bending the 7 up to the 1. So he's bending this A at the 10th fret, 2nd string, up to a B. Full step bend. Common blues lick, also often played. Instead of bending the A up to the B, sliding to the B. And then he just walks down the B minor pentatonic, giving that a little wiggle there, 7th fret, 3rd string. And then he hits it again. Ooh, that's a good one, right? Okay, so that's playing just the 3 notes, 4, 3, 2 of that B major chord, and then doing a classic Chuck Berry double stop. Again, double stop, you're just playing 2 notes on adjacent strings together. Here we're talking 7 and 9 on the 3rd and 2nd strings. That's a classic Chuck Berryism, bending those 2 notes at the 9th fret. Then it has this cool little pentatonic lick, which is just 5, 4, 5, 3, 4. Alright, so the whole thing, the intro, somewhat slowly. That's the intro. Then we go into this very cool double stop lick, which is also out of that pentatonic. He plays it twice. this case, it would be an F sharp 9. It's really playing just the, maybe that 6th string, a little bit, but mainly 8th fret 4th string, 9th fret 3rd string. So again, Hendrix makes something so simple sound so cool. Now here's the next lick from this tune. He's going down 2 frets, so this would be like it would be out of a minor pentatonic. It goes back to this motif a couple of times in the song. Out of the minor pentatonic, 5th, 4th strings, except he goes up here with this pinky to the 9th fret on the 4th string, resolving on a Chuck Berry-ish double stop again, this time 7 to 5, mainly on the 3rd and 4th strings, maybe catches a little of that 2nd string. Mainly 3rd and 4th. And this walking down on the 5th string, I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in a second with the next song, Who Knows. Okay. Then he comes back up to the 7th fret. The main part of the song is in B. And does which leads into the vocal. So again, pentatonic, double stops out of the B minor pentatonic. It's almost harder to play slowly. Slide down to the 5th string, 5th fret. And what he's resolving on there is part of the B7 chord. You've got the B note at the 7th fret 6th string. You've got the major 3rd there at the 5th string 6th fret. Okay? And that leads into the vocal, which is a B7 to an E. And you could play it like that, but Hendrix plays partial chords, you know, again, the funky rhythm and blues kind of background. So he's playing his B7 here. Really good chord for you to know if you're playing rhythm guitar, you're in a band, you've got 2 guitarists, maybe 3. You don't want to all be playing full bar chords. You want to fit in the mix. You can kind of vamp on a little 7th chord up here. Hendrix does a lot of this sort of thing. So again, the root, major 3rd, and the 7th, the A note, and he can hold that and go to the E chord without even moving the B7. I know I don't sound like Hendrix, but I'm a mere mortal, but that's what he's doing. He's grabbing the 3-note B7 chord and then grabbing a 3-note E chord, right? Our movable A version of the E chord up there at the 9th fret while holding his B7 funk down at the 7th fret on the lower 3 strings. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so that's a grab bag of sweet licks from Power of Soul, aka Power to Love. Alright, now we're going to go up to Who Knows. I'm going to just show you one lick from Who Knows because it's basically the whole song. Hendrix, of course, tunes down a whole step, so if you were playing along with the record, you'd be in in standard tuning. If you play along with the record, you'll be here, 8th fret, C minor pentatonic. Lick is as follows. Like that. That's it. That's basically the whole song. So C minor pentatonic, 4th string, 5th string walk down, like I showed you in that lick from the previous song, and then kind of a little. He does a lot of this on Band of Gypsys. We'll see in Machine Gun in a minute, of course. He's doing a lot of this muted string stuff. Then he gives that major third a wiggle. We've seen that too. We've been talking about the tension between the major third and the minor third. I misspoke a second ago. That's the minor third. He's giving that minor third a wiggle, and we've talked about in other lessons how that tension between the minor third and the major third is so popular in blues and rock music. So when he teases that minor third note there at the 3rd string, 8th fret, that's what we're getting. Okay? And the other thing that's illustrative of this lick, this very simple lick, is that walk down on the 5th string that I talked about a minute ago in Power of Soul. That's an incredibly common lick as well, because what you're doing with that passing note is you're playing what's called the blue note. It's the flatted 5th. Here's your 5, here's your flat 5. You know, this is really common in blues. It's part of the so-called blues scale. When they add that note to the minor pentatonic scale, it's called the blue note. So it's good to know. All right, lastly, we can't look at Band of Gypsys without just a glimpse, at least, of Machine Gun. And this is just going to be a glimpse because, of course, it's an 8 or 9 minute tour de force. And he's doing some fairly complex stuff. What I want to show you is just some of the simpler, at least note-wise, licks from the intro. Technique-wise, they're not simple because his touch was incredible, and again, we're going to be getting just the merest of approximations here. You want to be at the 12th fret E minor pentatonic. Again, Hendrix is tuning down a whole step, so if you were to play along with the record in standard tuning, it would be in D. But you really need to be up here to play the there's some open string stuff. Almost all the licks are going to be going between the 12th and the 14th frets on the 4th and 3rd strings, right out of that E minor pentatonic. Very rough approximation, but he's sort of hitting open 6th string, and just like we just saw in both of those other licks, coming back to really torturing that minor 3rd note, which is, in this case, in the E minor pentatonic scale, is at the 12th fret 3rd string. So again, hammer-ons, pull-offs between the 12th and 14th frets on the D and G strings. And of course, there's a lot of this muted string kind of stuff in between. And then when he does the... So you just, this time you're bending up the 4, which is the 14th fret string. Second time. And then the third time he plays this wild lick that's too fast for me, but it's essentially... It's one of those where he, like Stevie Ray did after him, will just kind of go, just run down the minor pentatonic scale so fast that it sort of just becomes a slur. And then the fourth time it's... I don't know if he pulls off it, but he really hits that I've shown you in several other lessons, everything from Van Morrison's Wild Night to Gimme 3 Straps, Leonard Skinner. Again, you're anchoring your pinky at the 15th fret, 2nd string, and you're bending, which is the 7 in the key, and you're bending up the 4, which is at the 14th fret, 3rd string. And then it goes down to this bass kind of riff. Which is 10th and 12th frets. You're just doing the same thing. Playing the same notes down an octave. And then he slides off and plays the open E string and goes, which is that classic blues lick that we've seen in multiple lessons as well. And then he comes back up and plays more wild licks. So that's a taste, merely just a taste of what he's doing on Machine Gun. And 2 other songs off Band of Gypsys. I hope you got something out of that. Play around with it. It's fun stuff. And get out those Stratocasters. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.